Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April 9th Lebanon Board of Works meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll move on to the roll call of members.
Okay.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mayor Gentry.
Present.
Jane Taylor, absent tonight. Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Present.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board. All right. Next, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting. Any comments, corrections, amendments for our, 2 meetings, excuse me, for our March 19th or our March 26th meetings? Any edits there? Okay, would entertain a motion concerning the approval from our March 19th meeting.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes for March 19th.
We have motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion, I think it was Dick. Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, and would entertain a motion for our March 26th meeting.
So moved. Second.
So moved to approve.
So moved to approve.
Motion to approve and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, those minutes are approved. All right, we'll move on to department head reports now. First up is the police department. Chief Wormuth.
Good evening, everybody. During the period between 3/26 and today's date of 4/9, the Lebanon Police Department responded to 691 calls for service. A total of 26 citizens were arrested for the following crimes: 1 out on warrant, 7, operating while intoxicated, 4, drug offenses, 4, 2 for meth and 2 for marijuana, battery, 3, domestic battery, 2, minor in possession of alcohol, 2, operator never licensed, 1, residential entry, 1, disorderly conduct, 1, and child exploitation, 1. A total of 11 handgun permits were issued by our office during this period. Captains Warwick and Morgan completed the Chief Executive Training course at the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy the week of March 26th and the 30th. And on March 28th, Officer Clark Letcher and Crime Scene Tech Colleen Clark participated in the Lebanon High School's yearly career day. They had the opportunity to speak to approximately 60 students that are interested in pursuing a career in the police sciences. On April 4th and 5th, Crime Scene Tech Colleen Clark also attended training at the Lawrence Police Department in property room management. April 6th to the 8th, Officer Trey Hendricks completed the Gunsight 150 course presented out here at our Boone County range. We would also like to publicly commend Lebanon Fire Chief Chuck Batts for his assistance in chasing down an escaped prisoner last Friday. The prisoner escaped from a transporting police cars that stopped in traffic. The gentleman ran a short distance before entering a retention pond. Chief Batts witnessed this event and joined Officer Braxton Dubois in a foot pursuit. Both actually entered the pond and apprehended the suspect in chest-deep water, which pretty well means I would be swimming. His assistance is commendable and appreciated, and it proves even firefighters can grow up to be their heroes, police officers. So we want to thank you, Chuck, very much for apprehending him. That is all I have.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief from the board? Any questions from the public? All right. Thank you, sir. That's why you tune in and get a little bit of comedy on Monday nights.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Police Department, Fire Department, Chief Batts. Yeah.
That was a first in 21 years to be in a foot pursuit. So that was, I felt like I was running fast. I don't know if I really was or not, but I felt fast. Well, good evening, everyone. Since the last Board of Works meeting, Lebanon Fire has made 144 emergency calls of service, logged 91 training hours, performed 28 commercial inspections, installed 2 car seats, and participated in 1 public education event. Today and tomorrow, LFD CPR instructors Gabe Westerfeld, Captain Matt Shepard, Brandon Beasley, and Chris Wiley will be teaching CPR at the Western Boone High School. They will be certifying the 150 freshmen at WEBO to be totally CPR certified. And in 4 years, WEBO will have grades 4 through 12 completely certified as CPR administrators. So Western Boone reached out to us, and one of our firefighters is a substitute teacher there, and we were filling a need for him. Our plan from this point is to reach out to Lebanon Community Schools and offer the same program to LHS. Starting this Wednesday, firefighters will begin their annual SCBA fit testing. This process will ensure that firefighters have the proper SCBA mask and fit. We would like to invite the public to the unveiling of the 9/11 monument. This ceremony will be held on May 5th at LFD headquarters, also known as Station 11 at 975 Lasley Drive. The ceremony will begin at 1 p.m. Light refreshments will be served, and firefighters will be on hand to give station tours. And we really want to get the word out to the public and across Indiana, for that matter, to come out to this great event. This has been several years in the making, and we're looking forward to getting this done.
Great. Thank you, Chief. Does that conclude your report? Good, Chief? Yep.
Right.
Any other questions for the Chief?
I just got one for the chief. Do you know what your 40-yard dash time is?
You could time it with a sundial. Not good. Not as good as it once was. How about that?
Any other questions from the board? No. Any questions from the public? Okay. Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chief.
All right, next up, Parks Department, John Messenger.
That's hard to follow. Thank you. Good evening. Easter egg hunt last Saturday was a huge success, or 2 Saturdays ago, I guess it was. I want to thank the mayor for being out there with the help from him, Debbie Ottinger, also Taylor Edens and Todd Jensen and our park staff for setting that up and making it possible. Couldn't do it also without the help from Mrs. Bohannon's class, which stuffed over 10,000 eggs. And also Jack Carroll from Purity Wholesale Groceries for their generous donation, and I think everybody walked away with a big chocolate bar, which was fantastic. There again, a couple hours setting up, and what were they gone in, Matt, 20 seconds?
Maybe.
Yeah, it was just stay out of their way. But the Easter Bunny was there, plenty of pictures, long line for him, and I appreciate everybody's patience to stand there with the bunny rabbit. With warmer temperatures, we're approaching. We have baseball and soccer going on now, so everybody be mindful as they go through the parks. Also, the playground activities starting to pick up. Just drive, with caution when you're out there, please. Soccer will be happening at Reese Park. They're starting to practice. I think tonight was their first practice. Games will start every Saturday. Looking forward to that. They're a real good group to work with. Baseball haven't started real successfully, but hopefully we'll get that first win very soon. Pool season's quickly approaching too. We already have 18, I have 17 down, but 18 pool parties already reserved. Big success. We also have until May 1st, you can get $10 off on any pool pass if you want to go ahead. We had a few of those today. Believe it or not, snow on the ground and pool passes. The Daddy-Daughter Dance tickets are still available for Saturday night's dance, 6 to 9. The dance will be held at the Herman B. Wells Room at Lebanon High School. Tickets are on sale now, $15 per couple, $5 per additional child. And we've had quite a few influx from Brownsburg. I guess they missed the dance. They only have a limited amount of people that can go to it. They charge $50, and they don't have DJs, they don't have food, and they don't have photo booth. We do. So, and ours is $15, theirs is $50, just to let you know. So they were very excited to come over to ours. I think that's going to be neat. We also have somebody from Michigan that always comes down that's already reserved their room, and looking forward to their daddy and daughter out there. But we don't turn anybody away. I think that's a great thing. Dads are real excited coming in to be with their daughters. Co-ed softball registration's open. Mother's Day event, we're cupcakes and canvas. We're going to do that again May 6th from at 1 o'clock, $20 per person. Register your mom with the kids at the park office. Lap swimming is still available at the high school on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays from 5:30 to 6:30. That's all I had.
Okay, thank you, John. Any questions from the board?
No.
Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next up, engineering permit. Kevin?
Good evening. Engineering department report for the 9th of April. Since the last meeting, updates on East Street. Construction continues, although as you know, last week was not a great week for construction activities. But we did get a little bit of curbs finished up last week. Essentially, all the curbs are done that will facilitate the paving of the street. That would include all the commercial driveways. Those are all done as well, although some of those are still curing, so you'll notice some flags and barricades around those. But those are complete. The only thing really left from a concrete standpoint is sidewalks and some minor residential and alleyway driveways as well that will be done with the sidewalks. Let's see, the stone is being graded and prepared for asphalt. Although with the weather last week, our asphalt date has been pushed off. Right now, we were scheduled to have asphalt sometime at the end of this week, and it looks like we're going to be next week. We're going to be the 19th of April is currently the date set for having asphalt delivered to the site. Sidewalks will continue this week and next week until we get to the asphalt placement. At that point, the sidewalks will have to wait a couple days until we finish up the asphalt before they come back. Tree planting plans are complete and the trees have been ordered. That will happen after the sidewalk work and all the other infrastructure is completed. So that'll happen probably sometime in late April or most likely early May. Moving to other projects, the Northern Interchange Feasibility Study, we have set the public planning workshop, has been set for Monday the 16th. That's a week from today. It will be held in the building in the room behind us. 6:30 p.m. is when that'll start. We'll have a brief presentation from our consultants going over the criteria that we have to use to establish the interchange feasibility study, and then there'll be a lot of time for public question and answer and participation in that process, obviously with the goal of coming away from that meeting with a good understanding from a public perceptions standpoint of where the public would like that interchange to be. We invited, I think personally, sent invitations to somewhere between 300 and 400 people. Everybody up in that area, a lot of county residents as well as city residents. So mostly our rural neighbors up there to the northwest of the city, both sides of 52, both sides of 39. We really canvassed the whole area that would be affected by the interchange improvements. Jameson Street Bridge, work continues there, just waiting to wrap up storm sewer work and then the asphalt patching that will be done, obviously with the warmer weather as well. And then our regional detention facility, Dave Newell and our consultants with Christopher Burke inspected that for a final inspection last week. There was one item left on a punch list, and that was, happy to say, completed today. So we will be able to process a retainage request there and close out that project. Industrial pretreatment, nothing new to update there other than just to reiterate for everyone that the interim treatment conditions are in place to facilitate the opening of Ken's, which should happen, well, it's scheduled for mid-April, so sometime in the next week or so they should be ready to go live. Downtown action plan, that's the big project on our radar right now. A notice of award was issued last week to White Construction on the base bid only, and that is contingent on bond closings and post-bid contractor requirements, things like bonding and different schedules and lists of contractors and suppliers that they have to supply before we will issue a notice to proceed. Again, we would expect to issue that notice to proceed after the bond closings that are scheduled to happen on or before April 26th. So as soon as we have that cash in hand, we'll be ready to issue them the green light, and they have been prepared and prepped for those dates and are ready to complete the project in the 195-day schedule that the contract requires. Again, the base bid, so for everyone that doesn't know, and for the public's benefit, that will include the intersections on 39 at Main Street and Washington Street, That will also include the intersection of State Road 32 and Meridian Street, as well as then 3 sides of the Courthouse Square and Main Street extending west of the square for 1 block to and including the intersection of West Street. The remainder of the project, as you know, goes west on Main Street out to Patterson Street and continues the connection of the Big 4 Trail just north of Patterson. We will plan to repackage that and rebid that later this fall, and still plan to complete that construction in the spring and summer of 2019 as the schedule originally provided for. And our intention would be that would all be within our $10.9 million bonding capabilities on the overall issue. Still working through a few legal issues with construction inspection contracts and our interlocal agreements. The RDC will be considering interlocal agreements with Boone County and NDOT and hearing the Boone County agreement later this evening and hopefully making a decision there. And I believe that is scheduled on the next Boone County Commissioners meeting for next week as well. Pavement Asset Management Plan, that project is scheduled to kick off this Thursday, April 12th, and begin to reevaluate pavements throughout the city and update our pavement asset management plan and prepare for paving operations for the year and the next 5 years to come. With that, that's all I have. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions from the board?
Yeah, I missed it. What time is the public meeting on the 16th for the North Interchange?
It will start at 6:30.
6:30?
Yep, in the room right behind us here.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Planning Department, Ben Bontrager.
Good evening, board members. We had a little bit of quiet time in the planning office over the last couple of weeks of spring break, but for those of us that actually work, we still had to get some stuff done. So, planning department operations over the last couple of weeks, we did complete 32 building inspections, which was quite a lot considering Gary was gone for 1 week of the 2 weeks. 15 permits were issued, including 2 sign permits for Ken's Foods, so we do know they are getting close because they're putting the signs on the building. Code enforcement operation, you see we continue to deal with a number of trash and debris complaints as well as the vehicle complaints we're being much more proactive about as well. In terms of the projects we got working, comprehensive plan, we're getting ready to officially kick this off with a steering committee. We're finalizing the steering committee individuals basically as we speak, and we'll be having the first meeting with that group May 1st is tentatively scheduled for that date, and then we'll be moving forward quickly from there. So for the general public, that means that over the next couple months, we will likely have our first public involvement session, some sort of open house to invite the public to come in and participate in the process. So be looking for that. We'll be advertising in the local paper. We'll be using all of the city's online media, et cetera. So be looking for that, but that'll be definitely be coming in the next couple months as we really start getting this thing kicked off. The planning department permit software, there's no significant updates since the last time we meet, but we are still anticipating before the end of April, we will have a launch date for our new permit software, which will be great. That'll be right before a filing deadline for the Planning Commission at first part of May, so hopefully we can use all those individuals as our test case to see whether this thing's actually going to work for us, which I think it will. The Lebanon Entrepreneurial Building or downtown co-working space or whatever it is we're going to try to call this. We did have the pre-bid meeting a couple weeks ago on a Monday, and we had 3 potential groups here. I've since had some follow-up conversations with each of them, and I do expect that we'll receive at least 2, if not 3, very meaningful responses to that pre-bid. And those are due again on May 14th, and we'll be opening those bids, and then the following month we'll be selecting an operator. One thing I didn't have on my report, we are continuing to interview for our code enforcement planner position. We have 1 more interview this week, and then hopefully we'll be making a decision within another week or 2 after that. These are all individuals that will be graduating in May from planning program at Ball State. So of those 3, we'll be hopefully making a selection. I would have liked to have had a few more resumes, but we did get a few good ones that we interviewed. So we've got 1 more and hopefully making that decision. And that's all I got for this evening.
Thank you, Ben. Any other questions from the board?
No.
Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks.
All right, next up is community development. Joe? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, street department. Larry, you'll go after Joe. Joe, I called you up first. We'll let you go first. Sorry, called audible.
Evening, everyone. Got my walk-in for tonight. A lot of things going on in our community, a lot of great things happening, and this week are several of them. The first one, bless you, coming up tomorrow is our dog park discussion, a potential dog park somewhere in the vicinity of Lebanon. That dog park discussion will be held tomorrow, the 10th, at Lebanon High School, and that starts at 6:30. So if you want to kind of hear more information about where things stand currently and some potential plans, show up at the high school and just be able to hear more about it and have your opinion heard. And looking forward to a good turnout at the high school on the 10th at 6:30 p.m. Our absent issues got delayed one day. Usually it's the second Wednesday of the month. Due to some scheduling conflicts, we needed to back it up to the 12th, Thursday, April 12th, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The location is the LPD Community Room. And appetizers, as the title suggests, will be supplied, and also beverages as well. Talking public safety and also many department heads, mayors is scheduled to appear as well, to be able to have a chance for folks to get up close and personal with city employees and be able to just be able to converse in a very informal setting. So that is taking place on Thursday, April 12th, 7 p.m., 9 p.m. The LPD Community Room is the place to go there. Chief Wormuth is going to have a nice setup for us. Finally, coming up on Sunday, I know it's a Sunday, but there's a reason for it. I'll tell you in a minute. On Sunday, April 15th, the time is 4 p.m. The end time is when the event's over. At Uland Country Club, we are going to honor two Lebanon legends, Don and Mel Kenyon. Big thank you to our Lebanon City Council for helping to appropriate the money, but there will be a historic marker, racing-themed historic marker, that will be unveiled at that unveiling ceremony on Sunday, April 15th, which is Mel Kenyon's 85th birthday. So we thought it fitting for the brothers Kenyon to be there, two living Lebanon legends being able to be there and to be able to help unveil that historic marker with several former racing names that you definitely have heard of being there in attendance. That event is free to the public. There'll be some appetizers served there. Again, that's at Uland Country Club on Sunday, April 15th, and it starts at 4 p.m. So it'll be a brief presentation, a little unveiling, a meet and greet with all the drivers that are there, and certainly with Don and Mel. And so we're glad to be able to have those gentlemen there and be able to unveil that to honor them. Finally, our newsletter for May will be released on May 1st. So if you have an event that you'd like to share, we do that free of charge and have it on our community page, and that's shared out off to roughly 4,800 subscribers. Again, that's released on May 1st. If you want to send an email to info@lebanon.in.gov, a little bit of information about that event, preferably a picture as well, being able to add that to our website and our community calendar feature. But again, that'll be released on May 1st, and the information is sent to info@lebanon.in.gov.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Any questions from the board?
Joe, what was that time again on the 15th? Was that 4 o'clock?
4 p.m.
Thank you.
Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir. A lot of stuff going on. Appreciate all the hard work. All right, Larry. Sorry, street department now. Sorry, I skipped over you.
Hey, I'd go last, save the best for last. Well, the only thing I can say, I hope it's not going to snow again tomorrow and have another blanket of snow, but as long as it keeps off the streets and keeps melting, we'll be on good shape.
Do you have any salt left?
We just restocked the building, so whatever you need, we'll be able to help you out.
Okay.
Since the last council meeting, we've had 11 additional calls on top of the other things we do. Missed trash, potholes, some catch basin cleaning, and they've been resolved in a timely manner. Last week, we were able to, within the weather, we was able to mark and paint the parking stalls at the Bill Estes parking lot there on South 11th Street. Thank the mayor for helping us out there. I had a lot of calls and said, hey, you have a new employee? And I said, I'm not sure, but if we do, it's not coming out of my budget. But very good. I'm glad you helped us out.
Did you stay within the lines?
Yes, he did.
I was
He
painting
actually
the
had
lines.
to correct us how to.
Yeah, I was painting the lines.
You were painting the lines?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was spray
That was
painting.
one of them, was a little wavy. Was that yours?
Well, I didn't.
He didn't do the striping, he actually done
I
that.
did the striping. I did the lines where
Yeah.
the stripes go. So if the stripes are crooked, it's not
It
on me.
worked out pretty good.
My guidelines were straight. So.
Worked out really well. Just a reminder, this is going to be a couple things we repeated before. Just a reminder, again, April 27th and 28th is our annual spring cleanup, and we have had a lot of calls. So I'm hoping they'll be busy and the weather will be great and really clean up the city and people can get rid of their trash and debris that they don't want and bring it out to the shop. Also, that Saturday, April 28th, the Boone County Solid Waste will be having their Hazardous Waste Day, and that will be at the Boone County 4-H grounds from 9 till 2 in the afternoon there. Yard Debris Week, again, we had to cancel last week, so we've actually extended into this week where residents can rake their unwanted leaves from the yards and collect the limbs and just put them along the street curb. We'll pick those up during the regular trash day. Last thing, we're continuing to fill potholes with our cold mix. We've really kept ahead of it. Really like to get the asphalt plants opened up and ready to go, but I'm hearing about the third week in April, around the 15th or so. I'm not sure. Is that what you heard? About the 15th of April, about the asphalt plants? Oh, yeah. So I think that's when it's going to open up. So.
Okay.
Last thing, we've had some classes and some education. The guys who went to road school this year, and they've had some classes on snow plowing activities, also asphalt repair, crack sealing repair at the Purdue Road School, and also they were able to attend the truck show in Indianapolis for one day. So some education going on there also. Okay. That's all I've got for you.
Thank you, Larry. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay. All right, last but not least, Stormwater Department. Dave?
How you doing? Let's see, we've got 20 calls, mostly for standing water, as you can imagine. But most of them are easements, you know. We got a few drains that are plugged we know about, and I got waiting on a piece of equipment. I do have a company to help us out, Eco Infrastructure. We didn't do any repairs on catch basins. We got about 4 we got lined up when the weather breaks to do those, and did our weekly inspections that we've been doing. Should be picking up once we start these other additions maybe and stuff. But that's all we got going on.
Okay. Any questions for Dave? Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, that concludes department head reports. We'll move on to old business. Is there any old business come before the board?
No.
Okay, we'll move on to new business. So the first item I have up here, and I can kind of clarify this. So we have concerning the stormwater utility, the street sweeper appropriation request. And this is just for the board's kind of education. Last year in the budget sessions, the council, we were talking about getting a new street sweeper that would be split the cost between the city street department and then the stormwater utility. And we did not put it in the budget, so we were going to have them come back and do an appropriation request. However, now we've been through this process. We do need to get a bid for this because it's greater than $150,000. So we will be going and soliciting bids, sealed bids for that piece of equipment that we will then split and then half between the city and the stormwater utility.
Actually, one correction there, and I haven't heard back from council, and it was later today that I forwarded the question to you. The quotes that we have today are through a national joint purchase program through NJPA, National Joint Powers Alliance. It's my understanding that these joint purchase programs allow you to directly purchase equipment that is compliant with bid law, but I will obviously defer to council on that one.
Yeah, I was on my way here when I got the message. So I think we still need to go offline and see, because we looked at that before. Some of those are compliant, some are not.
Okay.
And without knowing the details for now, I think the recommendation the mayor and I were talking about is just moving forward with the process and the ask, but then confirming what it is you decide.
Yeah, there's no problem with that. We want to make sure we're doing everything right.
Is there any way that we can get approval from the company, that they have approval from the state on the process to go through that process? I'm just thinking that these guys are going to be bidding this thing twice.
Well, I think we can do a couple things. We can, without having any of that information and looking at it right now, I would hesitate to make any recommendation whatsoever with respect to that company and that process. But I think as far as at least moving forward, if we don't need to move forward, then, then we don't move forward down that path, so.
I agree. I think we could just create if it would appease the board, we just create a general motion to allow us to move forward with this process, whether that is directly purchasing through a joint purchase program that is compliant with bid law, or it is sending out our own request for bids for this. Either way, we'll make sure it's compliant. I will say right now, the quote that we have from the joint purchase program is for $193,187.25. So we know we're in that ballpark of about $97,000 a piece, stormwater and street department. So we'll refine those numbers in that process and report back to you.
Okay. So, Rob, you just need a motion to move forward on the bid process concerning? Okay. Any questions from the board concerning this purchase? Again, I know this has been on our it's been kind of on our need list for a little while. We just decided not to put it in the budget last year. So, okay. Would entertain a motion to move forward on the bid process concerning the street sweeper.
So moved.
We have a motion to move forward. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All those there say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Kevin. All right. Next item up I have here is a streetlight request in the neighborhood of 717 Kersey Street. Lori Gross.
Good evening. We did have a request for a street light at 717 Kersey Street. I requested Electric Operations Manager Corby Road to go survey the area. He said that a street light could be placed there easily and that it would really enhance that area. So I'm here tonight just so everybody understands. I bring this to the board because the city does pay a monthly fee for the street lights. So I'm asking you for your approval to install a street light.
It's about what, $8 a street light per month, right?
Mm-hmm.
About $8.
Is this on the corner, or is this in the alley, or is this?
I did not go
the
there. Corby did. I think it might be in the middle at 717 Kersey.
Somewhere in the middle of the alley, or the street, I mean.
Yep. And it wouldn't necessarily go at 717, it'd just be in that general area.
Right, it's in that area. That's the person that requested it. And they're also billed by number of daylight hours, so they fluctuate from summer through winter, but it's usually 6 to 10 a month.
Any concerns, questions?
You need a motion?
Just a motion to approve the streetlight request.
I make a motion we approve the streetlight request at 717 Kersey Street.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All those here say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, streetlight request is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, next item up here. So we did remove the, sorry, crossed out too much of the city marker request. That'll be on the RDC meeting. So next item up is the Lebanon Police Department surplus vehicles declaration. Chief Wormuth.
We are requesting to surplus 3 2012 Dodge Chargers and 1 2014 Ford Interceptor. These vehicles are no longer needed and are used in the fleet. They've been replaced, so we're hoping to surplus them.
Okay. And these were submitted, Bill. I know you kind of took the lead on these.
Yeah, I've talked to Enterprise. I have received prices back, and I will have a meeting with them Wednesday, and we'll bring them over and review the vehicles. And at that time, we'll get with you on the disposal and how we need to proceed.
Okay, just let me know what time you'll be there, and
Will do.
Okay.
Because we'll either do the Enterprise or then the auction, right? And then
we'll go with the Enterprise, and then we'll advertise if anybody wants to do a bid, and then after that, then Enterprise has dealerships that will take the vehicles.
Okay.
But we won't have to go through the process of just letting them sit. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Okay. These are the oldest vehicles we have, right?
Yes, the 2012s are.
Okay. Okay. Would entertain a motion to surplus the 4 vehicles submitted.
I make a motion we surplus the vehicles.
We have a motion to surplus. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All those here say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, those vehicles are surplus. Bill will help you out and make sure we get those disposed properly. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much.
All right, next item up, or last item I have here, is the offering sheet for 320 South Meridian Street. I have Ben come up and introduce this.
Hello again. We'll start with just a quick background of how we got to this point. For those of you that have been involved in the planning over the last couple of years, particularly as it relates to downtown Lebanon, we completed the Lebanon Downtown Action Plan just right around a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, which really looked at both public investment opportunities, which is what we've all been talking about, that downtown redevelopment on the square, but then also looked at opportunities for private investment or private redevelopment in and around the square, and then also the area between our existing historic square and the city building, kind of that area along Lebanon and Meridian streets. And once that plan was completed, we've spent a lot of time reaching out to potential developers and investors just to discuss their potential interest in our downtown, what that looked like, and how we might be able to get them involved. And we've got a number of things in the works, but one thing we've been looking at is where we own property that might be available for reinvestment, what that might look like, and what we might be able to get for the property. So this property that's at approximately 320 South Meridian Street, basically just catty corner from this building on the other side of Meridian Street, has been identified as a potential redevelopment opportunity for mixed-use, multi-story mixed-use development. And we've had some potential interest in this site. So what we wanted to do then is follow the process to potentially sell this property, which would start with preparing an offering sheet and then putting that out, posting that for a couple of times, and then receiving bids for the property. We did complete 2 appraisals of the property, which in that offering sheet we're required to place a minimum bid price based on the average of 2 appraisals. We did complete 2 appraisals. One was completed by Don Scheit and Company at $155,000, and the other was completed by Veritas at $150,000. So the average of those 2 is $152,500. So what we do is basically prepare that offering sheet with a minimum bid price of $152,500. We'd put that out, we'd post that, and then accept bids that would come back to this Board of Works. The process would also include a public hearing here at the Board of Works to approve of the sale, and then also if those bid prices are over $50,000, it would require a resolution approved by council. So those would likely, we're still finalizing the schedule, but those will likely take place at the first meetings in May to do that. So what we're asking for tonight then is just approval from the board to finalize that offering sheet and send that and get that posted so we can get those bids back in and review those in May, at the May meeting.
Any questions from the board? That'll make sense? Okay. Any questions, comments from the public? Okay. So with that, would move forward on we just need to require a motion to prepare an offering sheet and then release that offering sheet for the property at 320 South Meridian Street. Is that fair? Right? Okay. So that's the motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the offering sheet for 320 South Meridian.
Okay. We have a motion to approve and release.
Second.
And a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. That has been approved. Thank you,
Thank you
Ben.
very
Look forward
much.
to see what happens there. All right, is there any other new business come for the board?
No, we're not doing the city market thing?
The RDC is going to do that because it's actually their property. So, yeah, there actually will be no request for street closures this year for City Market because they're requesting to move to the Innovation Center, so it won't be at there. Yeah, Chief.
I did leave one thing off my report. We are having a free car seat clinic at Station 12 this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12. And this is for anybody in the area that has a car seat or is in need of a car seat. If you have an existing car seat, you can bring it in to make sure it's the proper size, the proper fit, and installed correctly. And we'll have light refreshments as well. So neglected to put that on my Board of Works report. All right.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, any other new business? Okay, we'll move on to claims, and we'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
Make a motion, we approve the claims.
We have a motion to approve the claims. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, claims are approved. All right, then we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Thanks for watching. The redevelopment commission meeting will begin at 6:30.